Good morning and welcome to Blind Builds. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and this is my co-host, Cream the Cat. He is being a typical orange cat and sleeping in the corner. Yes, yes. If the orange cat is not sleeping, the orange cat is eating. I don't know what crazy beast cursed you with these things in your past. That is typical orange cat behavior. Uh, Hi, if this is your first time finding my channel, I raise awareness for the blind and the visually impaired by describing and talking about Lego here. My name is blind_prime, and I host a channel called blind_prime where I raise awareness for G.I. Joe, blind through G.I. Joe and Transformers. We have a lot of fun on that channel, but I realized I was having too much fun with Lego and I needed to shift my Lego somewhere else. So this is the Shifted Over channel. This is the Lego channel. Hi, welcome. So today we're going to be talking about the Lego Marvel X-Men X-Jet. The set number will be in the title of the video because I always want to make sure that when you click on these videos, you know the set number. That's an important number to know, especially whenever you're searching for one of these in your own, and you don't want to get it confused with the X-Jet that came with the Sentinel like 10 years ago, because that set is insanely expensive, and I don't recommend getting it because you'll just wow, that's a pricey set. So this is also a pricey set, but right now you can get it for 50 something dollars. It's on clearance at Walmart and Target. Get it before the scalpers do. My Walmart's here. I actually had to send my mom. She was visiting Pensacola, and I asked her to check the Walmarts around that region, and she managed to find one. So that's good on her. Thank you. Thanks, Squirrel Girl. Now the now in my area though, they're gone. There's no more X Jets. The clearance price is there. Everything's there, but there's no X Jets to be found. So I was very happy to get a hold of one. And today we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to talk about it in such a way that a blind person who can't see it can understand what I'm talking about. If you're a sighted person, this can help you too, because you can get a better gleam of how to describe things to the blind. So I'm going to be asking myself questions and giving you the answers here on Blind Builds, because we're all about playing with Lego and raising awareness of the blind at the same time. So let's get into this, the vehicle. We'll talk about the vehicle, and because that's all the set comes with, just a vehicle, no sort of landing strip or anything like that. And then we'll get into the minifigures. So tune in to the end for the minifigure action. And with that being said, let's talk about this jet and try not to take 30 minutes of your time doing it. So this Blackbird is based off of the CR-17. I think it's CR-17, SR-17, and that was also named the Blackbird, and that is a jet that was utilized in the 70s to do spy missions around the world, and it was an amazing aircraft. It was just top notch, one of the best aircraft that was ever made for doing something like that. Anyway, we've talked about that sort of aircraft on my channel blind_prime when we were discussing Snapdragon, which transforms into one. But here we have an extended one, an enlarged one that was used in the X-Men comic books and the X-Men animated show, and of course the X-Men movies. The Blackbird has been a character, even if it doesn't really get many speaking lines, or if any. It's still a character that definitely shows up all the time, and we all love the Blackbird because we've all seen the Blackbird so often. Now, the Blackbird would be like the X-Men X-Jet Blackbird is the best way to describe it is you take a SR-17 Blackbird and you send it to a company and you want it oversized, so they're just gonna make it bigger. They're just gonna like inflate it. That's what they do with chug scale with off-brand Transformers. Occasionally, they'll like inflate it to masterpiece scale, or they'll take a Legends or Core class scale Transformer and inflate it to masterpiece scale. That's kind of what happened here with the Blackbird for the X-Men. They took a normal Blackbird and then they enlarged it so that it could have enough space to carry all the X-Men. I just knocked Rogue over. So that's kind of why it is the Blackbird, and it's a stealth aircraft. But at the same time, it's so much larger than the real life version. It's just been enlarged by Professor Xavier and his crew of engineers. Now, let's get into, you know what, that would be, let me know in the comments below if you're an X-Men fan. Have you ever found a book that actually talks about the history of the Blackbird? Because I would love there to be an X-Men. I'm actually going to look that up after I record this video. I'm going to find out if there has ever been any backstory done on how the X-Men got a hold of the Blackbird, and why they use it and stuff, and how they can use it and stuff. That's some cool things. So let's just take Rogue off because she keeps falling, and we'll also take Magneto off. We already did. Excellent. We're already a step ahead. So at the front we have the unique point that we get with the Blackbird. It has this really well-defined point, and then it slashes out on either side. Now, in the comics, it slashes out on either side and then stays at that same width for the entirety of the aircraft, going all the way back to the engines, and then the engines are on the edges of that because it's just kind of a long tube that ends suddenly at the very end, the very back of the Blackbird. And this is not the case with this Blackbird. This Blackbird is different because of how it was built. So where we get that tapered thing, it actually tapers down right after this nice point, and then it tapers back out to be wider, to be the width that I would imagine the Blackbird to be at. And then you drag your fingers down here, and it tapers back down. So it goes from a width of, what is that, like 10 studs wide? Let's take a look. Handy dandy Lego pad. Don't fail me now. Okay. So we're going to slide this Lego pad under there. There we are. And we're going to do there. Okay. Now we're just going to slide this platform over here. We're going to put Magneto and Rogue over here. Slide that across. There we are. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was right. 10 studs. Actually, 11 studs. 11, maybe 12 studs wide at its widest point. Not counting the wings, of course, because the wingspan is 32 studs wide, just an FYI. But that was definitely something that I was intrigued by, and I messed up something. There it is. Okay. I was intrigued by that, but I was really hoping that we would stay at that width going all the way down, and that way, you could seat characters next to each other. There could be some bucket seats and stuff like we see in the show in X-Men '97 when Jubilee and Sunspot are hanging out next to each other. They're sitting on the same. They're sitting in a bucket seat on the Blackbird, but we didn't get any bucket seats on this Blackbird. I am sad to say. I was really hoping for some bucket seats, but instead, what we got is the seating of the Blackbird, where it's a pilot, and then right behind the pilot is the co-pilot, weapons guy, and camera aficionado. I don't like that. I do think that we could have gotten everything extended out. There's enough unique sloped pieces with hollowness on the inside. We could have actually hollowed out the interior of this a bit more and had a really good bucket seat going on. At least one bucket seat, maybe two. But for the width it is, the interior is not very wide. The interior is actually just 4 studs wide. Even though the exterior goes all the way out to 10, there's a lot of wasted space because of just bricks stacked on top of bricks going on here. And that's why the front is so heavy. I think there are pieces they have that they could have gotten this shape and not had so many, so much wasted space by just having, brick built areas there. That is a shame in my opinion. I think this could have been a lot better with that. Now, that's the front cockpit. And the cockpit is a huge window. It is a massive window that goes all, most of the, goes to the middle back of the X-Jet. Now, if we slide it around over here, we get the back window. And the back window and the front window only have 4 studs between them, in the middle that don't have any, that aren't windows. So there's a four stud area in the center of the aircraft that has no windows, and then the back window opens up, and we've got another seating arrangement where one seat sits and then another one sits behind them. And it's like, this is the rear of the aircraft. Why not just, you know, make some hollowness in there and set up the seats on the walls so that they could be sitting across from each other instead of directly behind one another? It annoys me. It annoys me about that. Now we close that up. We've got these storage crates that I don't get why they're here. I don't get that at all, but you can kind of flip them out. There's one, and then here's the other one. They're neat little storage crates, but like I said, I just don't know. They didn't give us anything to put in them. I think that is kind of, why didn't we get any little cool crystals or something like that? We get storage crates, but nothing to put in the storage crates. And then you have this storage area that the crates just kind of fall into. And let's make sure we put the openings up at the top. So that's one of the storage crates, and then we can put the other one, the opening at the top. Nope, not like that. All right, how do we set storage crates in? Is it these two guys? There it goes. Okay, cool. Yeah, but that's two basic storage crates. They usually use them as mailboxes in the Lego City stuff, but there's two of them, and I assume they're the same color as the Blackbird. But yeah, that's basically it. Now, an interesting piece in here is when you get a minifigure that has a book, like Agatha Harkness from the mini Lego Marvel minifigure series 2. She came with a book, and it had like an opening page. Well, that opening page is actually done up here to be some sort of little computer screen in front of this little computer area. I don't know what's up with that. We had to put a sticker on that interior computer for some reason, when I think it could have just been done with some printing, which is one of my dislikes of a lot of the Marvel sets. Like, why do we never get printing? What's wrong with you, Lego? Do you just have some sort of agreement with a printer, with a sticker manufacturer, and you have to stick to that agreement? You've agreed to print out more than 2 million stickers, and darn it, you've got to stick to that agreement. I think that's what's going on there, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, so that the same thing's the case in the rear. Figures are put forward, backwards facing, but one and then another one behind them. Now, coming over here to the wing area, I like these wings. I like the new wing style. I've never gotten a wing like this before. I was thinking we were going to do the brick-built wings, the big ones with the studs on top, but instead we got this weird sleek wing, and it works pretty good, especially since it's backwards. The wing is actually in a new direction. It's a lot of fun. I like the wings for this Blackbird. I think they're pretty interesting. I like the fact that we use these 4 wheel wells to make these big engines for the Blackbird, and then you have these little winglets coming off on either side, the dorsal wings, and they're pretty cool too. One second. My S-Pin battery died, so I gotta plug this guy back into the side. There we go. All right. So that's that's kind of the wingspan, and then back here you can see the engines. And the guy built this for me, messed up this rear engine area because there's like Technic holes visible, but on this side we've got kind of a different thing visible. I don't even know how that was made. I had no clue about that, but it's pretty neat. I like these big old engines. They're pretty fun, and I like the feel of this in the hand. It definitely, for collectors, it's annoying because you wanted a better Blackbird to sit in your Lego City or sit outside of your X-Men mansion, and you got this instead. And this isn't really a Blackbird. It's as if the Blackbird had a child, and this is the juvenile child of the Blackbird. Maybe you should have just called it the Blackbird Light or something like that. But yeah, this is for adult collectors. This is annoying, and if you're an adult collector, I'm going to rank this as a B. I think a B is a good ranking for this thing. It's got some decent pieces in it. It's got the feel of the Blackbird, but it's definitely lacking in a lot of things. And honestly, I think as collector wise, I'm going to grade it as a C. Now, it gets C for collectors, but if you're a kid getting this, if you're a parent getting this for your kid, that's a different story. I'm going to rank this as an A because of the center area here, where my complaints are with the fact that it's not the same height as the rest of the figure and it's not the same width as the front. But when you think about small kid hands, you got the center back area that a kid can wrap their hand around very easily, and it's even sloped and it's got a nice grip pattern to it. It feels like this is a good gripping spot. And for kids, they're going to be using that to fly the ship around. Woo! They're going to take that, Magneto. Pew, 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 pew. They're going to be doing stuff like that. They're going to be playing with it like that. And for that, and the way this thing is so solidly constructed, for kids playing with it, I'm going to give it an S ranking because this feels like a good ship for a kid who's 10 years old or younger to fly around and blow up and play around with at their in their little adventures. This is a good ship for that. That's a good grip. I like it for that. I think it would make a great ship for kids. Now, another cool thing about this ship is it's actually got closing landing gear. There's these two little skids that fold up and they close over the back of the engines and actually have some pieces in them that make them kind of merge with that engine whenever you feel it. It feels like it just kind of belongs sitting next to that engine. And that's a lot of fun. And there's also these cool little things where you can shoot missiles from. We've lost most of the missiles now because we were playing around with them, but it still has them, and that's kind of neat. And then on the front, you got these two little things you can shoot. You can shoot discuses from, but I'm not going to shoot them because Lord knows where they're going to go. I'm not a big fan of having spring-loaded weaponry in my Lego. The attacking things, the weaponry, that was always imagination right there. And I always appreciated that. And I know my parents appreciated not having to go look for a stupid missile that the kid shot behind the bookshelf and won't shut up about because kid shot it behind the bookshelf. And now you got to pull the bookshelf out from the wall in order to get the missile so that they can shoot it behind the bookshelf again. And it's like Lego. Why do you torment parents so? Why? So that's my overall ranking of the Blackbird. I think it's a wonderful little set, and it definitely has its place. It's not really the greatest for collectors, and I'm sad that they came out with an X-Mansion that didn't have a better Blackbird in it. Instead, we get a Sentinel destroying the X-Mansion, and I think a Sentinel would have been a good Lego set to sell on its own. Sell that set for $30, $40. People would have bought up Sentinels just by themselves, Lego. You got to look at what Hasbro does when it comes to the Marvel Legends. They release Sentinels, and people buy up Sentinels. If you release just the Sentinel, don't have an X-Jet in it, doesn't have anything in it, it's literally just a Sentinel. You don't even have a minifigure in there. You will find that Sentinel sell because kids will want that Sentinel. Kids will want 3 of that Sentinel so they can have Sentinels attacking their Lego city. Adults will want those Sentinels so they can have Sentinels attacking. I don't get why we never get just a Sentinel set. We got the Thor versus Surtur. Why don't we get like a Wolverine versus Sentinel or a Morph versus Sentinel? Now that would be a callback. So that's my thoughts on the Blackbird overall. Now let's go over the minifigures. So the minifigures here, we'll talk about Rogue first because she's right here. Now, Rogue this isn't Rogue. This is where did Rogue go? Wait, is Rogue in here? Oh yeah, Rogue's flying the plane. Okay, so this is Cyclops. Now, for Cyclops, I'm gonna be a little harsh on this. This is a hairstyle we don't get much of, so that's good. But I think it would have been cool if we had gotten a uniquely sculpted hairstyle that had that thing running across his face. Now, you could have used this as a Geordie LaForge hairstyle later on in the future if you did something with Star Trek, but for, because you could just repaint it. But for Cyclops, I think his little Cyclops bar that goes over his eyes would have been even cooler if it had been attached to the hair, because you have hair that has sunglasses on it. So you could have getting some hair that has red sunglasses, and all you do is take off this hair that has that thing over his eyes, and then you put on the hair that's got the red sunglasses, and that would have been really cool. It would have been neat. I like it whenever we get extra hairs, so that we can play around with that, and I think that's a really fun thing to do. And it's just a shame that we didn't get it with Cyclops here. So Cyclops, he didn't get anything special to make him Cyclops. You didn't get a piece to put over his neck and his legs to kind of give you the feel of the all those pouches on his front. So I'm going to give Cyclops a C ranking. I think there's nothing really unique to this figure, at least for me as a blind person, to really be able to figure out that that's a Cyclops. Now, here we got Rogue. I had Rogue piloting. Now Rogue here, I had to say that it's the same story as Cyclops. I wish we had gotten a better hair with Rogue. We had gotten something that had a little floof at the front, more defined. And instead, we've gotten this hair, which I remember first coming out in red back when I could see. And I have a few of these hair pieces. I don't have many of them, so it's a little okay. It's the same story with Cyclops of I have some of this hair, but I don't have much of this hair. And there's also this weird little feeling bit on her back that feels a little bit rough. I don't know what's going on with that. But she's going to get the same rank as Cyclops of a C, at least from the blind perspective of how do I tell that's Rogue. I wish they had been a bit more creative with the hair. Now we'll get into the minifigure that many have ranked less than the Wolverine that came in the minifigure series, but this is the Wolverine that comes to the X-Jet, and I like the Wolverine because as a blind person, I know this is Wolverine. I can feel the hat. I know it's Wolverine. I can feel these little fun, little claws that he comes with, and it's Wolverine. I know Wolverine when I touch Wolverine, and that's what I like. It's the same with Beast. I like the fact that Beast's hair kind of symbolizes that it's Beast because you can kind of feel the ears. This isn't, this is Wolverine, and I can feel that. I appreciate that. That's why Wolverine here is going to get an S rank. Look, he's holding things that I can tell make him Wolverine, and he's got a hairpiece that I can tell makes him Wolverine. So as a blind person, Wolverine here gets an S ranking. Now I know from what I've heard from reviewers, this Wolverine isn't the best because he doesn't have leg printing, but this is a wonderful Wolverine if you are visually impaired. I don't care if he's got printing on him. What I care about is the ability to know a figure judged by touching that figure. And I can know Wolverine just by touching him. And the same is true here for Magneto. Now, many people have poo-pooed this Magneto because this Magneto is wearing a weird outfit. And, and if I could see, I'd be poo-pooing this Magneto too, I bet. Now, since I can't see, I'm not going to poo-poo this Magneto because he comes with a little cloak. That's a unique cloak to him or a cape to him. I don't have a single other minifigure that's got a cape like this. So that is a positive. Wait, I have one, but she has a different hairstyle. Valkyrie has a cloak, has a cape like similar to this, but her cape goes off to the side. Now, he comes also with a unique hair that I don't have many copies of, if any copies of, in my Lego collection. This is some really cool hair. I like this hair. It goes all the way down. It reminds me a lot of Baroness from G.I. Joe with its texture and how it feels. And I can tell, I wish that this was the short frizzy hair like what Magnus usually has and not this long hair, but I'll take it. And I also built him a little platform using some of the spare pieces because my friend's, he tries, but he's not the best Lego builder, so he missed some pieces, especially these 1x2 half round tiles modified with stud on top, and there were two of them, and when you put them on a 2x2 round plate, they just kind of make a nice circle. And then I thought about it, and I had these pieces laying around from the 3-in-1 cameras, because we built the TV and not any of the cameras, and so there were these gray pieces laying around. I made sure they were gray, Magneto needs his platform. If Magneto doesn't have his flying platform, it's not Magneto in my opinion. And we had two of these things, so I put the second one on his arm, and now he's got a shield, and he's protecting himself. We've got we've got Cyclops here, so they're on top of this. The Cyclops is using his force beam. Magneto's done pulled up this shield of metal, and he's stopping the force beam from hitting him. And Magneto's like, "No, son, I got this stuff," and then he whacks him with it. I think that's a neat thing. And since it's Magneto, you can just have this disc pull. You can pull the disc off his hand and just have it fly around and take out Rogue and take out Wolverine and Cyclops and all of them. I think these are some fun pieces to add to it, and I'm really sad that we didn't get pieces like this included in the set to go with Magneto, because he always has his floating platform. He needs his floating platform, or at least a clear bubble to put him in. Now, they've come out with the Sonic sets, and those Sonic sets apparently have bubbles that Sonic minifigures go into. So it would have been cool to have one of those bubbles, but done in clear for Magneto. I think that would have been an exceptional addition to this Magneto. Now, with the pieces I included, Magneto is now S rank in my opinion. But without the pieces I included, he is he's an A rank, an A plus rank, because he has the cape and the hair, and I can tell it's Magneto by the cape and the hair. But he wasn't holding anything to let me know it was Magneto. So that's why I gave him things, so I know it's Magneto. And I'm always a lover of getting a villain, because we never get villains. We always get multiples of the heroes. I mean, now I have 2 Wolverine minifigures, and I've got so many Iron Men. But we don't get multiples of the villains very often. So it's nice to be able to get a Magneto villain and include him in my Lego City. Now, my overall ranking of this set to end the night out, to end the day out, is if you're a child and your parents have gotten this set for you, like I'm talking to parents right now, this is definitely in the S category for kids play. In the collectability, I'd give it a B, because the Blackbird isn't very collectible, in my opinion. Like it just doesn't work as well as I would like it to. But the minifigures are collectible, especially since I don't think the expansion came with a Rogue or that Magneto. So those 2 minifigures are unique to this set, and that's an important thing to know. Now, is it worth the 90, 95, 97? No, not at all. Don't ever buy it at that price. Is it worth the 50 something that it's currently on clearance for at Walmart? Yes, by George it is. And I recommend you getting it at that price. I think that it's excellent at that price. It definitely is worth the failings. Now, if I were to improve this set, the thing that I have to say on that one is I wish it had about 300 more pieces. I think with 300 more pieces and more unique pieces to get that interior hollowness going that planes have, they could have utilized more plane parts, pieces from their passenger jets and things like that. I think they should have utilized more pieces from those sets instead of what they utilized here. So that's where I think they could have improved. I think the set could have used 300, maybe 400 more pieces to round it out at 600, the high 600s, low 700s, or the high 700s, low 800s. I think this set would have been perfect with. 900 pieces would have been the golden tier for this set, in my opinion. I think with 900 pieces, you can make a good Blackbird, I believe. Now, my biggest dislike of this set is that we did not get any of the fun action pieces. So none of the fun clear pieces that you can use to make these minifigures fly about. We didn't get a fun little red clear piece that we could use and kind of plug it onto Cyclops' head so that he can be shooting a laser beam at somebody. We didn't get those pieces, and that's a shame. That is a missed opportunity, because we got a Rogue and she's always flying around, but we don't have any pieces to help her fly around with. We don't have any little clear spokes that she can stand on to act like she's flying. And that is a missed opportunity with this set. So that's my review of the X-Jet. I hope you've enjoyed the review from a blind person's perspective, and what I consider to be something important, where if you're a sighted person, you may not think of these things. You may not have considered like the hairstyles being that important, but as a blind person, they are that important for me when it comes to my minifigures. And also, this set would have been a lot cooler but oh well. I think it's a good one for the $50 price point. But I'm going to grab my little S Pen now. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've been Blind Prime, and this has been Cream the Cat. You got anything you need to say to the camera? No? All right. Well, thank you again for watching. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.